right hardware.
The right hardware, the right hypervisor.
Yeah, the right hardware married to the right hypervisor. There's lots of different hypervisors out there that you can choose from. IBM has vHype. There's Box. There's Cubes out of the Invisible Things Labs that you can take a look at. That's more of an architectural approach. There's something out of General Dynamics called HAP, H-A-P. Take a look at that. But test all this stuff. At the end of the day, don't just grab it and go, I'm secure. It really seems like if you can get away with it, disable that patch modifying the guest operating system, play with the hypervisor. There's so many attack vectors from that one modification of the guest operating system. It's not ready for a production, if you ask me. And then, of course, dedicated physical interface to your management of your HVs. And then the other fun one is probably, I'm sure everybody in this room has thought about it, but if you virtualize your entire network, so you've got guests talking to the guests over a map, memory region, et cetera. How do you detect whether or not there's any kind of nonsense going on there, any kind of covert channel? So you got to figure out how to trap that network traffic, to analyze it, to see if there's any kind of compromise. So a lot of people are now like breaking out. They're pushing the network traffic out over physical interfaces and then back into the machine so they can actually monitor it. So anyways. All right, well, thanks for listening, guys. Hopefully we didn't bore you too much.
Are you talking about some of these devices like I'm thinking Sidewinder that has a number of virtualized sort of systems inside? I haven't looked at any sort of applications directly. Most of my work has been sort of directly on the hypervisor and trying to either break out or trying to disrupt a neighboring VM. I'm not really sure entirely what they use. They could be using something more along the lines of what BSD uses, where they keep an entire operating system in this sort of virtual image, but it's not an entire kernel. It's not an entire system. I'm not entirely sure.
All right, back. So right now, the organization has a host of systems that they use, like IDS, IPS, bump in the wire style systems, MRTG graphs, for example. And when you put 100 machines onto one blade, for example, you lose the ability to see that network traffic because it's all running within the context of that server environment. Yeah, I mean, it's really a basic one, but it's. Yeah, you could fire up. You can do things at the virtualization at the network layer to like pop that data out to get it analyzed, but you need to make that active step. Right. Yeah, you got it.
Which some companies would love, is that costs you extra money to run that extra VM, and then that's sort of the architectural problem, is you end up having to solve a VM problem with more VMs.
Right. Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.